Hi everyone, hey, it's Diane. In this video today we're going to be growing Swiss chard from seed. So let's get started. Alright, I have my 6 packs ready to go with peat and perlite mix. I want to talk a little bit about Swiss chard first. Swiss chard plants are somewhat frost hardy, so the seeds can be sown outside directly in the soil about 2 weeks before average last frost date of spring in your area. If you want to get a head start, however, you can start them indoors 3 to 4 weeks before the last frost date in your area. So it can be grown from seeds or from transplants. And I'm going to be growing little starts inside, little plants, so that I can transplant them out into the garden later. So direct-sow chard seeds in the garden 5 to 3 weeks before the last spring frost. Chard can be started indoors or in a plastic tunnel or cold frame 10 to 8 weeks before the last frost in spring. So our last frost date here, and it depends because sometimes in May we get frost yet. So I'm just going to do this indoors to get a head start. So the first thing we got to do is we got to soak the seeds. Soak the seeds in warm water for 15 minutes to speed up the germination before planting. Sow seeds 1/2 inch deep or a few inches apart, and a few inches apart directly in the garden when the soil is at least 50 degrees. Then the seedlings, so they are 4 to 5 inches apart or 8 to 10 inches apart if you plan to only harvest the outer leaves. So what we're going to do is we are going to soak seeds. We're going to plant them indoors because it still gets cold here in our area. You can see the Swiss chard seeds, around 25 seeds or so in there, and then I'm just going to put 2 per cell. Let them soak for 15 minutes. So the ones I have here is the mixed color Swiss chard. And it says they're multicolored stems, bright in both vegetable and flower gardens with an attractive rainbow of colors. Stems have a mild chard flavor. So it says to sow them outdoors, but you can do them indoors too. First full sun. Sow 2 seeds every 2 inches after germination. Then to 1 plant every 6 inches. Begin harvesting in 4 to 5 weeks. Tolerates light frost without damage. Germination 7 to 10 days. And here it says planting depth 3/4 of an inch, and it said 1/2 inch. So you know what I do? I just press them in the soil. It's never an issue. Days to harvest 30 to 60. So that's quite a range. Spacing row plant 18 inches, 6 inches apart. Okay, 18-inch rows, 6 inches apart. So we'll see how it goes here. While these are soaking, I wanted to let you know, go down in the description area of this video and get all the information you need on growing Swiss chard. I also will have some links in the description area where you can find some seeds. So just keep letting them soak, and we'll be right back. It's time to plant. We're poking holes with this pin. Works good, whatever you have, poke holes with. A lot of times I'll just press the seed in the soil too. I don't get too technical. It all works out. So they're all soaked. I think I'll just grab them out of here. See how this works. Nope, that don't work. I'm gonna drain the water off. And now, so they're a little wet. They sometimes don't want to leave your fingers. Just drop them in. Or use the tweezers. This way you got no contact with your fingers, and they drop much easier. So there's a tip for you. That works really good. Look at that. Piece of cake. We'll finish planting these, so this won't take very long. There's some seeds here that don't really look the greatest. Look at those. You think they're going to grow? We'll find out. I did put a few extra in here just in case. Little seeds. I'm just going to put a couple in each hole. Always thin them out later. Done. That worked great, didn't it? So now, what I like to do, just water them in before I put the soil over them. Okay, gives them a little added moisture. Sprinkle your soil. The soil's a little moistened. Works good. It's not dusty. Just pat it down a little bit. Then water them again. Easy, right? You can do this. It's kind of the way I do everything. I want to give you a little tip for labeling because, you know, these old vinyl curtain shades, a lot of them, time they get really ugly and you just throw them away. So I cut them and make labels just like that. So I'm going to need just 2 here. Just cut them again. You don't have to, but I like to make them last as long as I can. And just write on here what this is and the date. I'm pretty sure I'm going to remember it, but because they're going to be really pretty color. Now I'm just going to put them on the heating mat here to get them, speed them up a little bit, and we'll keep you updated on how they're doing. The Swiss chard is up, not all of them, but they're coming. As soon as I seen them come up, I put them under the lights because they look like they're starting to stretch. But look at those little pretty colored seedlings. Only took a couple days. April 29th update on the Swiss chard. You can see they're getting leggy, aren't they? Swiss chard obviously gets leggy, especially when they were on the heating mat, got really warm, and then they stretched up really fast. But I can correct that, and you guys have seen my videos. When I go to either plant these or transplant them, I will bury them all the way up to the leaves. So it's not an issue. And then once you do transplant them, and to keep them from getting leggy again, they need to be in a cooler area with plenty of light. See how that goes. Updated. May 2nd update on the Swiss chard. Don't like these as seedlings. As you can see, they're real spindly. They stretch too fast. But as you know, you can correct that once you plant them or transplant them. Just plant them deep. Okay, plant that stem way in the ground, and that will help. But these obviously like to stretch, and I don't really like the look of them here right now, but I'm hoping I can correct that a little bit. Hey everyone, May 4th update on the Swiss chard. Look at those things. Look at that. They stretch. So they're getting transplanted today because I am getting tired of looking at them like this. So obviously they like cooler temps. Probably a little too warm in here, but we're going to transplant them, and I am going to get them to look a little bit better. They're just starting their true leaves right now. All right, let's transplant these bad boys. They're bad because they don't know how to grow. They're growing so leggy, I can't hardly stand it. Never had anything so ugly in my life. But I'm going to take them out. As you can see, they got the first true leaves coming, so I'm transplanting them. I'll make a nice little indention, a deep one. There we go. That looks better, doesn't it? How many of you grow Swiss chard? I mean, it's a really attractive plant. I'm not sure how much I'm going to use it. I wanted to try it. I see it's kind of popular, so we're going to grow it so you can kind of see it in the garden. Look at this. Ugh, what a mess. Sometimes plants don't do what you want them to do. They just don't. Down deep, deep, deep. Should have not have put the soil in this one. There's so many different ways you can do this, guys and gals. This is going to work. I'm hoping this will help. They're going to grow a little better. And I think if I could get them outside in some cooler temps, it might be able to do better. It slows them down because it's getting warm in my grow room here. And the warmer it gets, The plants tend to stretch a little bit, and some just stretch a little more than you want them to. So that looks pretty good. I like that. Water that one in, and we'll keep transplanting. Now we're going to put 2. I'm putting 2 per. I don't want to use too many of the inserts here. Don't worry. These will be fine. I get so many people saying it looks like you're butchering those plants. It's fine, believe me. I'll show you these in a couple days and you'll say, whoa, it did do okay. What I do with this, I use it. I just reuse it again because that soil, I mean, they weren't in that soil very long. And if these things stretch again, well, then they're just stretchers. They just are. Not going to worry about it because once I get them outside, they'll be fine. When they get outside, they'll grow better. That's the best one yet. Looks the best anyway. So you can do this if you feel that you want to. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't going to do it, but they just drive me crazy. I don't like the way they look. They look better. They'll look a lot better in a couple days. So I'll let these rest a day, and then they'll be going under lights. May 9th update on the Swiss chard. Look at these. These really settled in once I transplanted them. They're starting to get some fullness to the leaves. They're going to be nice little plants to put out in the garden. Today I'm going to be planting my Swiss chard. It's the end of May. The weather just hasn't permitted any sooner. So we're going to get some plants in today. I'm just going to be putting some in this pot up front here. And I'm also might put some in the ground. And I think I'm going to put this whole 6-pack in here. This is composted manure. Cow manure, and we've had a lot of rains, but just look at that. Look how nice that soil is. Really nice. I'm going to pull all these out. They've been in the greenhouse, but they are still a little flimsy. But I think they'll be fine. They're going to have to toughen up. Just going to be planting them in 6 just like so. Just kind of space them evenly. Put it down in the soil. Got lots of help again. What would I do without my farm cats? They are pretty good mousers. This will be really nice. What I want to use the Swiss chard for is my smoothies. Okay, and then we'll just water it in. That composted manure really takes on the water nice. Going down really nice. Should be plenty. Now they look flat now, but don't worry, they'll sit up once they get situated in their new surroundings. I have another one here. I might put some of this with my basil. I have a few basil there. And I think I'll just put a few in there. Why not? Since these are more on the leggy side, and these look a lot nicer, I'll put these maybe in a row in my garden here, and these are going to go in the pot. And I'm probably going to just put 2 or 3 together. Now if this gets too big for this pot and drowns out the basil, I will be able to just pull them later on. I just want to get them planted. We've been having lots of rain. How about you? So just going to put them in there like so. Hopefully I can harvest these quite a bit. I do smoothies every day usually for breakfast. Hopefully if they overtake the basil, which the basil is a little slower, we'll fix that and just cut it back. Here we go. That looks good. Basil smells really yummy. I think that'll work. This will complete my video on the Swiss chard, growing the Swiss chard. It's something kind of new. I haven't had a lot of Swiss chard in the garden, but I want to start getting into more greens. That's what we'll do. Alright, so if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.